All right, let's travel back in time to the 1990s. We're heading to a remote farmhouse in Haryana for what starts as a classic ghost story. But trust me, this tale takes a turn, revealing something far more terrifying and a whole lot more common than any spirit.
So think about that for a second. What could possibly be worse than a ghost? And what is this calamity that many of us have actually come across in our own lives? Keep that question rattling around in your head as we get into the story of one really, really bad night.
So, let's meet our players, shall we? First, we have Raghav Malik. He's a wealthy businessman from Delhi who pretty much sees the whole world as one big deal to be made. And then there's Raju, his caretaker. Super loyal, he's been looking after Raghav's isolated farmhouse for 10 years.
So, you've got this setup, right? Raghav and his wife, Mohini, they're living the high life in Delhi. The farmhouse is their getaway, and it's all managed by Raju. He's been a trusted employee since he was just 20. For a whole decade, everything was humming along perfectly. You had wealth, service, and, most importantly, trust. Until, one day, it all just completely shattered.
And you know how in every horror story there's that one little thing that sets everything in motion? Well, here it is. An official notice goes out. There are going to be nightly power outages, every single night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. The entire area is about to be plunged into absolute darkness. It's the perfect stage for what's about to unfold.
So imagine this. Raghav's away on business when his phone rings. It's Raju, his usually calm and collected caretaker, but he sounds completely terrified. He's rambling about strange things happening at the farmhouse, practically begging Raghav to come right away. He genuinely sounds like a man who thinks he's about to die. Raghav, a bit skeptical, promises he'll get there as soon as he can. So Raghav races over to the farmhouse, and when he arrives, he's hit with this eerie silence. Normally, Raju would be at the gate waiting for him, maybe with some music playing. But tonight, the whole property is dark, it's still, and Raju is absolutely nowhere to be found. After searching everywhere, calling his name, Raghav finally finds him. He's in a stable, just cowering, paralyzed with fear. When Raghav asks him what in the world he's so scared of, Raju just whispers, "The one standing right behind you." Of course, Raghav whips around, and there's absolutely nothing there. Raju then just unloads this story, and I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a horror movie. He talks about feeling a presence following him, seeing a face laughing at him through a window, and then the big one, the horrifying image of a tall, headless woman just appearing right next to him when the lights went out. It's a totally chilling supernatural tale. But Raghav, he is not buying it. Not for a second. This is a guy who deals in numbers and contracts, not ghosts and ghouls. He basically tells Raju to stop being ridiculous, reminding him he's worked on this land for 10 years without seeing a single ghost. He just chalks it all up to exhaustion and paranoia. Raghav goes inside, probably shaking his head, but pretty soon his own skepticism starts to get tested. He hears a door open, the sound of glass breaking. Later, he swears he sees a shadow, a figure, dash through the hall. Then, right on cue at 9 o'clock, the power dies. He decides he's had enough and is going to leave, but when he reaches into his pocket, his car keys are gone. He's stuck.
So what do you think is going on at this point? Raju is completely convinced a ghost is tormenting them. Raghav, who doesn't believe in that stuff, is now hearing and seeing things he can't explain. He's trapped in a dark, isolated house with what might be a phantom. So what was really haunting that farmhouse?
Well, Raghav decides he's not just going to sit around. He needs to find those keys. He creeps back into the dark house, moving through the kitchen, when suddenly, bam, a figure looms up right in front of him. The shock is just too much. He has a heart condition, and he collapses, out cold.
He wakes up hours later. It's almost 3 in the morning, and he hears a man's voice in the darkness. He listens in, and he hears someone on the phone talking about him, asking a madam if he should just go ahead and bury Raghav's body out in the field. Suddenly, this isn't a ghost story anymore, is it? This is a conspiracy.
And then, at exactly 3 a.m., just like the notice said, the power clicks back on. The light floods the room, and the figure is revealed. It's not a ghost. It's Raju. The loyal caretaker was the ghost all along. The whole haunting was just a terrifying performance designed to literally scare Raghav to death.
As if that wasn't shocking enough, Raju's phone rings right at that moment. And on the other end is the madam from the call. It's Raghav's own wife, Mohini. Thinking her husband is dead, she's congratulating Raju and promising him his payment, 5% of the property. The entire night, the entire plot, was orchestrated by his wife.
But here is where the tables turn hard. Raghav, now knowing everything, takes the phone from Raju. He calmly tells his wife that yes, she should definitely come to the farmhouse to collect her share of the inheritance in person. He's no longer the prey. He's setting his own trap.
He then turns to Raju, who's probably about to pass out from fear, and he lays out the new reality with this chilling chess analogy. He tells him, "You were just a pawn, doing what the queen told you to do, but you forgot something. I am the king, and the king is still in the game." Raghav's counterplan is as simple as it is brutal. He knows what made Raju betray him, a promise of 5% of the property. So he doubles it. He offers Raju a full 10% of his massive estate, but on one condition. When Mohini walks through that door, Raju has to kill her.
So when Mohini arrives, she's all smug and triumphant, thinking she's about to become a very wealthy widow. She has absolutely no idea that the game has completely changed. Lured by the bigger prize, Raju does exactly what he's told. As his wife steps into the farmhouse, Raghav just watches as his caretaker of 10 years murders her. So that's it, right? Game over. Raghav has won. He's eliminated the threat, he's turned his enemies against each other, but there is one final, devastating move left to be played.
As Raju, now a murderer, looks to him for his reward, Raghav delivers the final twist. He tells him, "I sold this farmhouse a week ago. It doesn't even belong to me." The entire bloody mess, the betrayal, the plot, the murder, was all fought over an asset that neither of them could ever have. And with that, Raghav just gets in his car and drives away. The official police report concludes that Raju, who was having an affair with Mohini, killed her in a crime of passion and then took his own life. Raghav, the poor grieving husband, walks away completely clean.
So that calamity we talked about at the beginning, the one that's worse than any ghost, it was greed. The source material for this story puts it perfectly. It says, greed is like sugar. A little bit is nice, it can be motivating, but too much, that unchecked, all-consuming desire for more, it almost always leads to a very bitter and very deadly end. This whole story was just a brutal game of chess, where every single player, the wife, the caretaker, the husband, made every single move based on greed. In the end, 2 of them are dead, and 1 of them is free. But the cost, well, it's immeasurable. It really just leaves you with one last question, doesn't it? What is the true price of greed?